This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com. Hey there everyone, and welcome to In Range, episode number 20. I'm Cameron Harris, and today we are talking about something called carb fasting. Carb fasting is a technique that I use personally quite a bit to help spot problems in both my basal rate and for my insulin to carb ratio. Carb fasting is kind of what it sounds like. It's when you choose one meal, say breakfast for example, and instead of having your usual toast and milk or whatever it is that you do, have something like eggs and bacon, something that has absolutely no carbs. Now the reason you want to do this is because in theory, if you're on a pump, the pump's background basal rate should keep you in range if you were to skip a meal for some reason. It shouldn't really make a difference. Now, during your carb fast, which should last for several hours after you eat your meal, keep testing pretty frequently, like every hour or so, and start looking to see at which point your numbers start to go either up or down. If your numbers start to go up, then because you haven't had any carbs whatsoever, you know that it's because the basal rate is too low. Similarly, if your numbers start to go down, you know that your basal rate is too high. If your numbers stay completely level throughout the entire carb fast, but when you introduce carbs into the mix, your numbers start going wonky again, then you know that it's a problem with your insulin to carb ratio. By taking your carbs and your regular meal boluses out of the equation, you can really zero in on where the problem lies. But there are a couple things to consider with carb fasts. Things to kind of, a little checklist for you to go through. For one thing, make sure that you're in range going into the carb fast when you test up for that meal. Otherwise, the data you collect will be pretty much useless. So for example, if you're already high when you're going into it, then you would need to give yourself a correction dose of insulin, and then you've got insulin working in your body in addition to your basal rate. That will completely skew the results. Similarly, if you are low going into it, well then the last thing you need is to be avoiding carbs for a few hours. Also, don't do a carb fast just to do a carb fast. Wait until there actually is a problem with your numbers and you see a pattern around breakfast. You're noticing, okay, something weird is going on here. Let's do a carb fast and see what that is. Also, don't do a carb fast that lasts longer than one meal because your body needs those carbs throughout the day to produce energy. So just do it for breakfast or lunch or dinner. Pick one band of time, do it for that amount, and then go back to your normal eating habits. Carb fasting is a really, really great way to spot problems in both your basal rate and your insulin to carb ratio. So until next time, be sure to visit our website at www.harwoodpodcast.com. There we have the show notes, links to all the stories we talk about, all that great stuff. And if you have any questions or comments for me, you can send me an email at cameron@harwoodpodcast.com. I'll catch you guys later. Good luck staying in range.